So today on the show we have someone it's been a hell of a long time in the waiting, unfortunately, but he's here. Someone who's really smashing the system of content creation. Like, I struggle to turn my phone on without seeing his face. Even in writing my notes, I've just opened Instagram and he's telling me who's headlining Wireless Festival. He was nominated for the Indie Influencer of the Year at the Musos Awards, and in general, he's just smashing life. He's off to his stag do this week,
Yeah.
but today he's here. It's your festival friend Russ. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a while, so I'm glad to finally be here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah. So, if you would, I've just introduced yourself a little bit. Go on and tell us who you are. Tell us what you do over on social media, and it'd be awesome to get the festival friend Russ introduction live.
Yes. Um, right. It normally goes without saying, but now you
Normally
must have
rolls
do
off the
it.
tongue.
Yeah, yeah. I'm your festival. So like, I have a thing. I say something at the start, something at the end. I always like give a thumbs up. I say I'm your festival friend Russ. I make festival content every single day, so hit that follow button. That's what I
There
do
you
in all my
go.
videos.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I make festival content basically, mainly on TikTok. I've started branching out onto other platforms now.
Yeah.
I got a bit worried about the whole TikTok ban thing, so I'm trying to sort
Oh,
of
okay.
branch out now as well. But yeah, I make videos every single day. It can be about Reading, down, whatever's going on. I try to just do one thing a day, just sort of educational, letting people know what's happening in the festival scene, basically.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of tips. So leading up to the festival season, I did a series last year called Reading 101, where I did it for 101 days. I gave a new tip every day. Um, yeah, and it's just yeah, I've only been doing it over a year properly, and it just seems to be just keeps growing and growing. So I just want to see where I can go with it.
Yeah, man. Awesome. I mean, as we say, festival friend, you're out there to look after people. You want to really ensure people have the best experience and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, for myself, I obviously cover Download and Bloodstock currently. This is what the guys listening know me for. But this guy, I mean, how many festivals have you got planned for this year so far?
It's quite a few to be honest.
Yeah,
I've
I,
got
I
my
know.
notes right here. So um, festivals and gigs, I've got one,
Yeah.
two, three, four, five, six, seven. I've got almost 20, I'd say, like
Wow.
from now until the end of the year.
Yeah, that's mad. And what's starting your festival season? Let's say, let's stay with festivals a
It
second.
was going to be Slam Dunk, but I'm going to C2C Festival in March, which is like the country one
Oh,
that
okay.
happens at the O2. So that's going to kick it off. But in terms of summer, Slam Dunk's kicking it off for me.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Are you going south, I assume?
I was going to go south, but I had such a good time at North last year because I couldn't go south last year because of the dates.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go north again.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Fair enough. So you've just mentioned a country festival. Is that something you're generally into, country music, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's something that I've sort of until recently kept on the down low. To be honest, I've always been a country music fan.
Yeah.
I do because I moved to Essex a couple of years ago from London,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get to know people, and I found they did line dancing classes in like a local social club. So I've been doing that. But yeah, it's only recently I've had a few opportunities come within country music. So
Yeah.
I thought I'll let people know how much I love country music now as well.
Yeah, man. Sweet. I mean, it's good to have a bit of everything on the
Yeah,
go as well,
yeah,
isn't it? Like you say, country music, indie. Indie's probably like your like
yeah,
at the
yeah. In
forefront of your taste.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Hmm.
my favorite band is the 1975.
Oh, good
So
choice.
indie pop rock sort of. But yeah, honestly, I like so many things. Growing up in London, I would like a lot of my friends and people I knew would listen to like grime and rap music. So
Yeah.
like it's cliche, but I like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, we all say it, but I think you are
Yeah,
the embodiment of that, and we can
yeah,
all see it. So that's grand.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, just to go over, you say like TikTok's your main basis, at least you was, and now you're trying to branch out.
yeah,
Um, I'm not trying to blow your trumpet massively, but you are a content creating machine. You're always the one that pops up, and if you were to look
yeah,
up consistency in the dictionary, you'd see Russ smiling at you. I can
yeah.
promise you that now. So as you've mentioned just now, are you still uploading every single day?
Yeah, yeah. So I make sure I upload like at least one piece of content every day.
Yeah.
From when I joined the Creator Fund in the summer, I've tried to make sure everything's over a minute as well.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
but sometimes, like if I'm really hungover one day, I'll just do a slideshow or something.
Yeah.
Um, as long as I'm putting something out, I just make sure something just so yeah. Like I watched a video once when I was trying to grow my account, and the person said like you want to get people annoyed with how much they see you.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's the sort of thought process I've had. So just keep making content. I've like had this thought that I want people to think like, oh, the devil works harder, but Russ works even harder than that.
Yeah. I like that. It's
Yeah,
something to work by. I mean, as you
yeah,
say,
yeah,
to annoy people. For
yeah,
myself, like the Black Sabbath gig, I'm uploading every single day for that, and
yeah,
I'm annoying my wife. Even she's
yeah,
saying I'm getting tired of seeing your face every time I open your phone. So if that's
yeah,
the way to do it, mate, I'll carry on.
yeah, yeah. It just needs one video that would just do really well. So
Yeah.
that's sort of my thought. Like, not every video is going to do well, but you
Hmm.
just need one or two to just, and then once people see that one, they'll see your other videos. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's just my thought process when I'm making these videos.
That's it, yeah. So just ensure that you are uploading, like even if it's not going to be your best video, if you're going to upload it, just
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
It could end up being your best video. You just don't know it yet.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I've had
Hmm.
so many videos where um it'll take me 5 minutes, not thought of anything of it, and that one's got like hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
views. Whereas one I've spent hours on will get 300 views. So I'd my thought is just keep making content. Some videos are going to be better than others. Some will do better than others.
Yeah. Just churn it out. No,
Yeah,
sweet. So, I mean, daily uploading, it's something I'm trying to do now. Another main reason for this podcast and having yourself on as well, especially, is I want to be able to show people how, again, not blowing your trumpet, but how some of the greats do it and how they
yeah.
found success. So, in uploading every single day, did you ever struggle to find source material, or did you always have a plan just in case there wasn't anything that came to the news that day, maybe?
Yeah, so when I first started, it was quite difficult because like festivals wasn't the thing I initially started out making.
Yeah,
It started off just making like just like lip syncs and funny dances and stuff about music, and
yeah,
then I've been going to festivals for years anyway. I kind of fell into that. So when I found that worked, um, I've got a notes page on my phone, and anytime I think of anything, I'll write it down. So I have like a bank of ideas.
yeah.
But then if anything's happening on the day, like an announcement, I'll make that the video and save the stuff I've got for when
Oh, I
there
see.
isn't really much going on.
Hmm. So you end up like with a backlog of like reliable stuff if there
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
anything happening that day.
yeah, exactly. So I've got that literally anytime I think of something, open my phone, write it down.
That
So
goes
then
to like the back of the pile almost.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
when there's a slow day, there's no news. Like from September until like Christmas, there wasn't, other than some announcements, there wasn't much going on. So I was going into that a lot.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to have things like you say on the back burner because
Yeah,
now we've reached. It's like the prime time now, isn't it, for festivals? The amount of
yeah,
announcements we're getting every single day,
yeah,
and how easy it is to just whip your phone out, chuck TikTok on.
yeah,
It's so easy, definitely. Okay, so before we get into the like the now of Russ, if we go all the way back to the beginning,
yeah,
so how did you start your journey? Like as a content creator, you say obviously you
yeah,
started the earlier like lip syncing and stuff. Was there anything you
yeah.
watched when you were younger that made you think I want to do that?
Yeah, so I've always been into YouTube and stuff. I've always tried to do content.
Yeah,
Like my first video I uploaded to YouTube, I was about 12. This would have been in like 2008 or something like that.
yeah,
Um, I've always tried to do it, and then I've never been consistent with it. I've always done it and then stopped.
yeah,
I downloaded TikTok like during COVID, and I've always like just watched stuff. And I don't know what came over me. One day, it was in September 2023. I just said, "Oh, I'm going to just start posting every day and seeing what happens."
yeah,
And like I think like the third or fourth video I did for after doing it for a few days, that video like went viral, and I was like, "Oh, so it does actually work." So I just carried on from there. Um, the best thing about uploading every day is like you learn so much. You learn what works, what doesn't, and you
yeah.
just get better at making videos as well. I
Hmm.
think that's the biggest take I've the biggest thing I've taken from doing videos every day is I've got better, and I've learned loads about TikTok at the same time.
Yeah. No, that's sweet. And when you say like you started in your earlier years when you were like 12, who would you say your influences were back then?
Um, Back then, I used to watch like because that was even before like the Sidemen and all of those guys.
Yeah, yeah,
There was a YouTuber called Charlie So Cool. Like he was like the first UK YouTuber to get 1 million subscribers. He was like vlogging back before it was even a thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, like a lot of American YouTubers like Smosh and people
Hmm.
like that I used to watch. Um, and then obviously as I got a bit older, I would watch like KSI and
Yeah.
all the Sidemen and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, my favorite YouTubers is obviously TPD TV.
Oh,
So
right,
as
yeah.
soon as I
Shout out
saw
to those
them,
guys. Yeah.
yeah, so I got into them when I first bought my first ever Reading ticket, and
Oh, okay.
they wouldn't have even been that big at the time. So I've like followed them ever since, and then I started going to festivals. And I thought, oh man, I wish I could do something like this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and that's yeah, and I feel like I'm kind of doing that, but on TikTok now, which is cool.
Yeah. No, that's right. And you are now becoming the influence to younger creators who
Yeah, yeah,
will look up to yourself and think I can give that a go. So
yeah,
I'm sure that's a nice feeling to know that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because obviously when you very first started, I mean, you're covering like nearly 25,000 followers across your platform now. That's got to feel good knowing that
yeah,
you've
yeah,
reached this.
yeah. It's like I still can't believe it now, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, like all last year, my goal was like to get to 10K followers, and I was going so hard, and I actually got to 20, which was mad. Like I could
Yeah.
not believe it. Um, so I'm just hoping I can carry on that trajectory and it doesn't sort of slow down.
No, I'm sure you will. I mean, looking at the footage from, I'm not sure if it was Reading or Leeds, but like you had the meetup at Reading and
Yeah,
Leeds,
yeah,
and you got people like chanting your name and
yeah. It was
lifting
mad.
you up. That is ridiculous, mate. No, it's really good. Where was that? Was that Reading or Leeds?
That was at Reading. That
Oh,
was
it
at
was.
Reading. Yeah, because
That's awesome, man.
it was like I did that series, and it all sort of built up to that
Got
one
you.
moment. So it was crazy.
Yeah, so you were like the aide leading up to Reading. People have thought
Yeah,
that guy's really helped me out with his hints and
yeah,
tips.
yeah,
Let's go and support him. I like that, man. And then going from that, so all that other success, nominated for like the greatest indie music influencer, like to even be considered.
yeah. I know it was mad,
Yeah, yeah,
and like like Rob Kellis and TVD were also nominated in that. So
yeah,
to see my name next to them, I was like, it don't feel real.
yeah.
And like Jack Saunders from Radio One and other people, and
That's it. Yeah,
I didn't even think I would because there was like a vote, and then the top six get to go to the ceremony.
yeah,
So when I saw I got like was in the first round of nominees, I think I posted it once because I thought there's no point me even trying to get people to vote.
yeah,
And actually, I don't know how, but I've ended up getting into the top six. So
yeah.
it's mad.
Oh, that's brilliant. Is that? Sorry, I'm not completely up to date with it. Is that still ongoing?
No, yeah. So the ceremony's in March,
Yeah,
but now it's down to I'm not sure who decides who wins, but it's not like an open vote anymore.
yeah.
So it'll go down to a panel or something. I don't know.
Okay. So do you know who's made it into the top six along with
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. So Rob Kellis and TPD got in.
Hmm.
Trying to think who else. I can't remember who else, but
No, no, that's cool.
yeah, I was saw the singer from the lottery winners. He was one. He got through
Gotcha.
as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, to have my name against those people, I'm just happy to be there. To be
Yeah,
honest.
that's it. That's awesome. And if you can find out a way of if people can vote for you, like
Yeah,
please do put it out because
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure all the guys out there would want to support you, as I would, of
yeah.
course.
Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah, so these kind of things happening, like the massive following you got going now, the nomination for the awards, you got to look at yourself and think, I'm actually making something of this little hobby. Is the dream to
Yeah,
go full time with something in
yeah.
the music industry?
That is the dream. I mean, the dream would be to like do what I'm doing now, but
Yeah,
obviously do it full time. So I started on YouTube because I know like if I want to do it full time, that's probably where most people sort of make their earning from. So
hmm,
I'm starting with that. Um, Obviously TikTok's my main thing. That's what I focus on. But yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, the dream would be I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 years. I want to be realistic with it as well. In the next 2 to 3 years, if I could quit my day job and do this
yeah.
full time, then I'd be happy.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, you say YouTube. What's going to be your main kind of content over with like long form stuff then?
Um, I think I think maybe going because with my stuff on TikTok, it's a lot of quite like going through the festival quite quick. Like I try to make it over a minute, but not too long.
Yeah.
So maybe just basically what I'm doing, but a bit more in depth. So showing like a whole journey of a festival throughout a whole week and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I like do festival vlogs, but then try and keep it like educational in that kind of way
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Gotcha, man. And it would be covering like your Reading Leeds. Well, to be fair, any festival you go to, would you
yeah,
vlog
yeah,
every festival?
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna start doing because I got a
Yeah.
new camera now, so I'm gonna start doing that from all the events I go to, and then so I'll be uploading to TikTok and YouTube as well.
Yeah, sweet. And what's your name over on YouTube? Because you are already set up.
Yeah, it's Russ Festival Friend. I've tried to keep it all the same.
Keep it consistent. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome. Now, so if we can delve into your festival history, then did you say your first year was? Did you mention your first year for Reading?
yeah. So 2016 was the first time I ever went
Oh,
to
okay.
Reading.
Was
Yeah,
that your
so I
first
went.
festival, or?
It was my first proper festival was one called Underage Festival. I went to when I was
Okay.
16. I won a competition to perform, and it
Hmm.
used to be in Victoria Park in London, where
Oh,
I
okay.
think all Point ceases there now.
Yeah.
So it used to be a festival just for under 18-year-olds. So that was my first sort of experience, and then I didn't go to a festival for a few years after that.
Yeah. You say you
So
performed? Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So my band I
Okay.
was in at the time, we performed on a small stage somewhere.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah, going to a festival as a punter on the first time was 2016.
And that was Reading. Who headlined that year?
That year it was who was it? It was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Imagine Dragons, Fall Out Boy. Who else was it? I remember the 1970. Oh, Biffy Clyro was headlining.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I remember the 1975 were like headlining on one of the smaller stages. Yeah, it was a good. I think it was one of the first times they had like more than one headliner
Yeah.
on a day, because normally, like recently they have, but they used to have just the three headliners.
Yeah.
So that
It
was like
sounds
their
stacked.
first time. Yeah, yeah, it was amazing.
Hmm.
It was
And
amazing, and because of that, I never looked back. I was like, I've got to come back to this place every year now.
I was going to say, yeah, if you have a good first year, it really does start some kind of addiction, doesn't
Yeah,
it? So that was the year that started the love for
yeah.
festivals for you. Oh, sweet. And can you say what your best year has been at Reading?
Um, I'm not going to say the year just gone because it was because of the meetup. It was so good,
Yeah.
but I'd say 2019, because I think for me that lineup was incredible, and it was just before COVID, and like obviously we didn't know what was going to happen, but
Yeah.
I feel like festivals just like everything's just not the same since it's been before COVID. So
Got you.
yeah, that 2019, my favorite, the 1975 was headlining, Post Malone headlined, Foo Fighters, 21 Pilots. It was just another stacked year.
Hmm. Yeah. Ah, awesome. Great stuff. So if we can do, we're going to go into the trash talking questions. I want to delve
Yeah,
into your musical history if we
yeah,
can. So have you had a chance to look at the questions?
yeah. I have.
Awesome, man. So we'll start off. So what was your first ever album as a kid?
The um, first ever album that I remember buying, I got gifted a couple, but first one I ever bought was the Elvis Presley Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
I was like really obsessed with Elvis at one point when I was a kid.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, and I loved the song Hound Dog. So I went to HMV and we bought that album,
Yeah.
and I would listen to it on repeat. But yeah, I remember it was the gold one. I remember having the CD.
Yeah.
So that was my first proper album and I still love Elvis now, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's never left me.
Hmm. How old are you? Sorry.
I'm nearly 30, so I'm
Nearly 30.
29. Yeah,
Oh, okay. When did you turn 30?
in May,
What day?
the 13th.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah, I swear to God. I
Are you?
swear to
Oh,
God.
mate.
I swear to God.
So I'm 29 and
Yeah.
I turned 30 on May the 13th.
Oh no. So we were born on exactly the same day.
As if. That is incredible. My God. What are the chances of that?
Oh no, that's mad.
I'm so glad I asked that question now. Mate, that is ridiculous.
Oh my, I can't believe that.
A trash talking, like, big news
Yeah,
madness, that is. So you're rocking about with your little Walkman with your Elvis, and I
yeah,
was rocking about in my little Walkman listening to Linkin Park. So
yeah.
That's
Yeah, to
madness.
be
That is.
fair, Linkin Park was not long after that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Hmm. Humble beginnings.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So going from that, then what was your first ever gig then?
My first gig, and I say it proudly, Nickelback. And it was Nickelback at the O2.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good one, man. That is well
yeah,
good.
I've always loved Nickelback, so I know it's cool again to listen to them now. But
Yeah, yeah.
even when people hated on them, I've always loved them, man.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm happy to say I remember the show I went to. They filmed their music video for "Burn It to the Ground."
Oh, no
Um,
way. Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
know it.
yeah. So I was there when they filmed that music video.
Yeah. And how old were you then?
I was, I want to say 13, I think.
Yeah. So was that like the start where your music started getting a bit? Oh, I'm not going to say heavier, but a bit more
Yeah.
like rock
No,
influence. Do you think? Or
I've always loved like rock and heavier music because my dad
yeah.
was in a rock band.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I grew up listening to. We used to have like LimeWire, and he would download all like Guns N' Roses, and
Yeah.
his favorite band was the Who. So we used to
Gotcha.
listen to a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I've always sort of had it in my life. So yeah, Nickelback. Um, yeah, was my first proper concert I went to.
Gotcha. Awesome stuff. So, what would you say the best gig is you've ever been to? So we've got the best festival, but what do we think
Yeah.
was the best single gig?
Um, I've got. I'm going to give an honourable mention to it was around this time last year. I went to see the 1975 with my fiance, and that's where I proposed to her.
Yeah.
So honourable mention to that one. Um, but I've got to say, gig maybe the 1975 at Finsbury Park because they'd never done a show like that.
Yeah.
It was just a whole night. It was a really nice day from start to finish. So
Hmm.
yeah, Finsbury Park, the 1975.
Oh, perfect. I was just doing my last minute research and I clicked on your video where you proposed
Yeah.
to your girlfriend, and yeah, I was tearing up, mate.
Ah, thank
I'm a
you.
big softy like that. I really am. But what a perfect time to do it as well. Is that
Yeah.
like both of your favourite band,
Yeah,
1975?
yeah, yeah. Both of our favorite bands, and it was their last tour. We knew they were going to sort of go on a break, so I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
And it was in Manchester's our favorite city. We visit it all the time.
yeah.
So we managed to get tickets for it. I thought, yeah, this is all lining up. It's all perfect. So
Hmm.
yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I'm glad it just worked out well and you didn't like let it slip. When
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
watching it, I thought I can imagine security like scanning you with the wand and it beeps. And it's like what's in your pocket. Like
yeah,
I can't tell you that, and they just like tackle you to
yeah.
tackle you to the ground or something.
Oh no, luckily it all went to plan.
Yeah, perfect. I'm happy for you. Right, so can you give me a five top? We'll start with movies, if that's okay.
Yep.
So Russ's top five movies.
Um, right, I found it quite difficult because I used to watch movies all the time. I used to have a cinema membership,
Yeah,
but um, I've just been watching so much YouTube recently and not necessarily films. So
yeah,
um, this is just based off what I could think of before I come on today.
hmm,
So number one, my first two are both Marvel films because I'm a massive Marvel fan.
yeah,
So my first one is Spider-Man: No Way Home. I
yes,
just
good film.
remember being in the cinema and
Hmm.
being like, I've got the free Spider-Man tattoo on my leg.
Yeah.
Um, like it was like it just helped. It made me relive my childhood, seeing all the Spider-Men
Oh yeah,
come together on screen, and like yeah, and there was like rumors of it, but then being in the cinema for the first time, seeing them come out, like
yeah,
I wish I could do it again.
hmm, yeah. I agree. Like the fact that, as you say, there were rumors, but not to have it truly spoiled. I'm assuming you went on the first day.
Yeah,
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 yeah, same.
yeah,
And yeah, it was one of those special moments. Exactly the same as Endgame, like
yeah,
um, when oh Christ, when Captain America gets the hammer, like those kind of
yeah,
scenes,
yeah,
you have to witness it there and then for the first time. Otherwise,
yeah,
it just wouldn't feel the same, would it? But no, yeah, it's a great
yeah,
film. Great choice.
yeah. My second one, funny enough, is Infinity War. Um,
Okay.
just because feeling like in the cinema when like spoilers for anyone listening who hasn't watched it, but when what happened at the end of the film, and it had me like shocked, and then we had to wait a year for the next one.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I loved Endgame, but for me, I just liked Infinity War a bit more. So, yeah, so Infinity War is my number two.
Yeah. Good choice.
Number three. I've got it's a more recent film. I think it came out last year. Saltburn.
Gross, yeah,
I just loved it from
yeah,
start to finish. I love that like it's set in like the noughties, so
yeah.
I got all the references.
Hmm.
Um, I love the soundtrack of the film. Um, I love the actors in it, the actors and the actresses. I just thought it was an amazing film. It was. There are moments that it's a bit,
Yeah, what's going on?
yeah, it gets you back up. Like some people might find it's a bit weird, but I
Yeah,
thought the acting was incredible in that film,
yeah. No,
and I love
awesome
the
film.
whole concept of it as well.
It's one of them films where like you're glad you got yourself to watch it because everyone was talking about it at the time, and then you just sit back and think, you know what, that was actually an awesome film, like really well made and everything. So I agree. So far, you're doing really well. I'm agreeing
Yeah.
every film so far.
All right. Number four, I've got About Time. So
Okay.
it's kind of like it's not a rom com, but it's more like a sort of romantic film. I can't remember the actor or the actresses in it, but it's about a guy and he finds out that his dad, his all the men in his family can sort of travel back in time, um, and it's like it's set in England and it's about him growing up dealing with this how like with this power and like it's about I'm trying to explain it. So it's not really sci-fi, but
Yeah.
it's like him getting to grips with learning about how to live with this power, but at the same time he wants to live a normal life.
Hmm.
So it's a bit of a sort of lovey-dovey film, but
Yeah.
it's one that maybe when I'm really hungover sometimes I'll sit like get under the covers and just watch it like a feel-good film.
Yeah. Like a good Sunday afternoon with a cup of
Yeah,
tea
yeah,
kind of film.
yeah,
Gotcha. I'll have to give that one a go because I'm a sucker for a rom com myself. One of my favorite films
yeah.
is like 50 First Dates. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
love that.
yeah, I'm here
Okay,
for it. I'm here for the rom coms.
yeah. And my last one is one I've only watched recently, Kneecap,
Okay.
based on the band Kneecap. So, like, they're a band or like a group. A lot of people have been telling me in the last year, "Oh, have you listened to Kneecap? You listen to Kneecap?" And I didn't really give them the time of day.
Yeah.
I gave them a listen, and I thought they were good, but I didn't really get it because it's like they're rapping in Irish, and I didn't get it. And then when I watched the film, so it's set on their lives. It's
Yeah.
loosely based on their lives, and I think they got Michael Fassbender to play one of their dads, which is cool.
Oh wow.
Um, and when I watched that film, and they have their album is the soundtrack to the film, I was like, right now I get it, and I
Hmm.
can't stop listening to him now.
Yeah.
And they just yesterday they won like loads of BAFTAs as well, which is like it's ironic but cool at the same time because the whole thing is about how they're like the British people have oppressed Irish people into not speaking their language.
Yeah.
So and now like they're getting nominated for all these British Film Awards, which is it's like it's like a full circle moment for them.
Yeah. Got you. That's awesome. And they're headlining 2000 Trees.
Yes, the headline in 2000 Trees. Yeah,
Ah, sweet. I assume you're going to be there.
I'm hoping so. I'm
Yeah.
hoping. I'm seeing them open for Fontaine's DC.
Oh, okay.
Um, I've got 2000 Trees on my list of festivals. It's getting so packed now, so I've got to
Yeah.
like
I
actually
bet.
be picky with what ones I go to.
Hmm. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll come back to you with some more festival questions at the end. But if we can
Okay.
move on to 5 albums, that'd be
Yep.
awesome.
Okay. So number one, I thought I had to put a 1975 one in there. I put their latest album, "Being Funny in a Foreign Language."
Yeah.
I love all of the albums, but I think maybe it's recency bias. I've listened to this one the most at the moment,
Hmm.
so I've got that one in there. My second one of my all-time favorite bands, Rage Against the Machine, their self-titled album. Um, I, when I first started properly learning to play like the electric guitar, like I would try and learn all of their songs.
Yeah.
Um, I begged my dad to like get me a wah pedal so I could like learn how to play Bulls on Parade, and
Yeah.
I've just Tom Morello is my favorite guitarist of all time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's an album that's like ever since I first listened to it, it like changed my life.
Hmm.
I've been a massive fan of them, and they're on my list. I still haven't seen them live, so
Yeah. They're quite
there's
elusive, aren't they?
yeah,
Difficult to get hold of in the UK,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, and it could have happened twice at Reading, and then once they pulled out, once it was COVID. So I'm praying one day they do make it back to Reading and Leeds.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, were you one of the people that were actually happy with the substitute of
You know what?
1975?
Yeah, I would have been one of the only people
Yeah,
who were happy because as much as I love Raising the Machine, if I was going to choose anyone to replace them for me, it would have been them. So
yeah,
yeah, I was one of very few people that was happy.
yeah. I'm sure. Perfect. Okay, and your next album?
My next one is The Defamation of Strickland Banks by Plan B. Um, so it came out. I think I was in about year 10 or 11,
Yeah,
um, and I was listening to a lot of like UK rap music at the time, but I felt like he was doing something that no one
something
had done
different.
at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I like that was the first time I'd been introduced to like the idea of a concept album,
Hmm.
because the whole thing is like he's written a story. It's about this character who's um, get been accused of like doing something to a woman, and he has to
Yeah.
go to court and stuff like that. So um, I loved it, and I fell in love with his music from then. Um, he's not really done much since. I think he made a
No.
film after that, but
Hmm.
I think for me, he kind of peaked at that album. But it's
Yeah.
an album. I think the anniversary was a few years ago, and I got the album on vinyl, so it's like in pride place in my house.
Yeah. Is that the one when he sat on front of the cinema?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
No, the
one.
one. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. He was huge. Like when we
yeah,
at that age in secondary school, he was huge for a short while,
yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah.
Cool. And I've lost
My
count.
next
We've got
number four.
number four. Number four,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Number four is Brat by Charlie XCX. So I've been a massive fan of her for a long
Yeah.
time. Um, I've always been vocal with my friends and family about
Hmm.
how much I love her.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't really get it, and I think people get her now, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I love all of her albums, but this is the album. Maybe it's recency bias. I just can't stop listening to it. I'm just listening to it non-stop. I'm trying to learn a bit of DJing now as well.
Okay.
And it's like once that any song on that album you can just chuck in anywhere,
Yeah.
and it's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy she's getting the recognition she deserves now.
Hmm.
Finally.
Yeah. It's like a proper energetic album, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, in preparation for coming on here tonight, I knew you were a Charlie fan, so I thought, look, I don't normally listen to
Yeah.
that kind of music, but I put it on today and it was mad. It's like crazy album. And is
Yeah.
she doing Reading Leeds?
No, she's not. She's doing Park Life. She's doing a new
Oh,
festival
okay.
called Lido, but I've got a feeling she might headline next year. I've got a
Yeah,
feeling.
I can see it. She's huge.
Yeah.
As of like when the new album came out, she's just
Yeah.
everywhere, isn't she? So
Yeah.
it'd make complete sense, definitely.
Yeah. And my last one is Amazing Things by Don Broco. That's their most recent album.
Yeah.
They're a band that I've loved for years as well,
Hmm.
and I love a lot of their albums. But I think this album, because I'm a Man United fan as well, there's like a whole like there's the Manchester Super Red song on there.
Yeah.
I've seen them like live during this album cycle about 4 or 5 times.
Oh wow.
I've managed to meet them as well during this and like chat to them um, about how much I love the album. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they got added to the download lineup this year. So
They have.
might
Yeah.
be something new coming up soon, hopefully.
Oh, sweet. Well, it'd be a pleasure to have you over there. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's for sure. But Don
yeah,
Broco, I'm mad for Don Broco. Like Priorities is an awesome album. I much prefer their earlier stuff. Like,
yeah,
I sound like such an old man, but I prefer their earlier stuff, like the proper
yeah, yeah,
like lad rock.
yeah,
But yeah, great choice, man. And yeah, Don Broco download, that'll be interesting because when
yeah,
they were last there, it must have been like 2016 or something like that. Downloads come such a far way now. Like
yeah,
before, it was like that's not a metal band; they shouldn't be here, kind of thing.
yeah,
And me and my wife, we're big fans of Don Broco, and we went to see them. And no joke, there must have been about 50 people in front of this like
yeah,
second stage, which would normally house like I don't know, 15,000 people, something
yeah,
daft like that. So, but now that it's moved along so much, I can guarantee they'll probably get one of the bigger crowds
yeah.
at the weekend, if you know what I mean. So, um, so what do you think? Do you think you'd delve into a bit of download for the day or
Yeah,
something, maybe?
100%. Yeah, I really wanted to go this year. I was asked by Fat Franks to come down, but I
Oh,
couldn't
nice.
because of work. I couldn't get the time off.
Yeah,
They wanted me to come down during the week a bit earlier, but I couldn't do it. So
yeah,
um, I'm not sure. I think I'm doing. I can't remember. I think I can't do it now because I'm going to another festival.
Yeah.
But it's one last year especially. I loved the lineup last year. I was gutted I couldn't go.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely, if I don't do it this year, I've got to try and make sure I do it next year because it's one that I've always wanted to go to. Like I love that all metal, heavy, alternative rock, pop punk, all of
Yeah.
that. So it's one I need to get to at some point.
Hmm. And it'd do well, like as a video for yourself.
Yeah,
I can guarantee it's like my first download, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
People would lap it up, I can guarantee.
yeah,
But funny you mentioned Fat Frank. Shout out to Fat Frank, absolute legend. Um, Working quite closely with him for Bloodstock and Download again this year, and I was considering saying, "Look, I need to experience Reading or Leeds, one or the
yeah,
other. Do you need a helping hand?" So now you just mentioned
yeah,
that. That's fresh in my mind. I'm gonna go and
yeah,
see what I can sort because I've never done Reading or Leeds, never, and same as yourself for Download. It's just something I
yeah,
think I need to experience.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
no, you would love it, because they obviously the music is quite varied. There's a lot of stuff,
yeah.
but they usually try to cater for everyone. So there will be a few bands at least that
Hmm.
you would like.
Yeah. I'll have to have a look at the lineup. 'Cause was it last year
Yeah,
that Spirit Box were there? Was that
yeah.
last year?
Spirit Box was there last year. Yeah,
Hmm. So every now and then I spot a band on there and I think, wow, they look so out of place from the rest of the bands. But then you see
yeah,
live footage of them playing on stage and the crowd is like
yeah,
ridiculous for them. So it's obviously like quite a varied taste that
yeah,
Reading and Leeds goers have, you know.
yeah,
Okay, sweet. So if we could end the podcast on just a bit of just basically do what you do best, and
yeah,
I'm just going to ask you some questions. So what would you
yeah,
say is what are your like top tips for someone who's doing the very first festival? They haven't
yeah,
bought anything yet. They've got the ticket and that's it. How would you
yeah.
say is their best option to approach? What things should they buy? What has always
Okay.
helped you in the past?
Yeah, I think what I've learned is do not overpack. Like obviously, again, shout out to Fat Franks. There's so many things you can pick up there. Like even a tent. You don't even need to bring a tent
Yeah.
nowadays. Tent, airbed, um, airbed pump, all of that sort of stuff you can pick up. You like, I'm sure you've got a code for Fat Franks. A lot of other creators have codes.
Yeah.
Find one of those codes to get a discount.
Hmm.
Um,
Use code
uh,
SMTV10.
yeah, there we go. Um, even things like drinks and stuff, you can get mixer from Co-op. Try think about what you actually really need to take, what you can't get there. Because I know for Reading, for example, the walk from the car park to the campsite or the walk from the station to the campsite, it's a long walk.
Yeah.
So um it like what I've learned to do is take the bare minimum, and if I can buy as much as I can there at the festival.
Hmm.
um so yeah, that's one of the main things. Um, what else? I think one of the most important things is for me now is I need to be comfortable when I sleep. So I
Yeah.
need an airbed. I'll have a duvet, or I need to make sure I'm comfortable when I'm sleeping. Otherwise, I'll be finished the next day.
Yeah.
So and at festival, I'm sure you know it gets absolutely freezing at night.
Hmm.
No matter how hot it is, the night is going to be freezing. So make sure you wrap up with jumpers, jogging bottoms, all that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, they're like my two biggest things.
Hmm.
I'd say, to be honest. Try and branch out a bit, see new bands.
Yeah.
Um, don't you will miss bands that you want to see. I think that's just inevitable. You can't
Hmm.
see everyone as much as you can try. You just got to accept sometimes you can't. So if it gets to that, think about who would you rather see more. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they're like the main sort of three main things. There's obviously
Hmm.
so much I could say, but
That's it. I mean,
yeah,
we already know that this guy does videos every single
yeah,
day telling you how to enjoy a festival. So
yeah,
they're just his top three.
yeah,
Perfect. So I'd say that's a good segue to call it an end. But if you want more festival tips, tricks, and news, he covers everything you need to know. Um, Go check him out. He's awesome.
yeah,
It's been a pleasure to have you on. It really
yeah.
has.
Ah,
And
thank you so much.
I really hope we can meet up at a festival one day because it'd be grand.
Yeah, 100%. We've got to make it happen. Make it
Yeah,
happen.
that's it. Right. So, where can people find you? We've mentioned throughout, but yeah, just give it one last
Yep,
plug if you would.
yep. So at Russ Festival Friend, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of the social media platforms. Yeah, I post every day to TikTok. Um, I post every day to Instagram and stuff now as well. I'm posting everywhere. But yeah, my main place is TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, check me out on there.
Super. And I'll put all of Russ's links and everything in the description of this. So go ahead and check him out and make sure you follow as well.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been a pleasure, and yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it. So yeah, definitely we've got to try and link up soon.
Of course, man. Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening, and I've been Stu, and thank you again to Russ. Trash Talkin